if you should have any questions about any of the products that I have in my little hands here, then make sure you also ask any questions and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, in this particular live stream, no product that you see here is sponsored or has a partnership arrangement. However, from time to time, I do get the opportunity to have partnership arrangements with brands. So if you are a seller on the platform watching this live stream after the fact and you want to connect with someone located in Australia, whether you be a seller in Australia or the US, I'm more than happy to collaborate on a live event like this to help your customers make more informed purchasing decisions. So let's get into it. Make sure, as I say, if you are watching, that you say g'day and let me know where you're watching in the world in the chat. Use the chat to ask questions. And also, I do have another live stream coming up on the weekend. So if you like what you see here today and you want to see more of me and what I share, then make sure you give me a follow here on the Amazon platform. So let's get into today's content creation gear live stream. And I'm going to start with the first item in the carousel, which is actually the microphone that I'm using. So later on, I'll be showing the Rodecaster Pro 2, but I've since shifted up what I do here on Amazon and also on my social medias by using a wireless lavalier mic. So the microphone that I'm actually using now is this one, which is the X5 from Lame. So this particular microphone has two transmitters or two microphones and a receiver that you can see there. Now I cannot show you the receiver and one of the microphones because one I'm wearing, but I do have here on the desk the other microphone, which you can see here. And the receiver is actually connected to my computer right now. So it is delivering the audio that you're hearing. So there is no compression or there's no processing with this microphone. So if you like the sound of the microphone that you're hearing here, then if you check out the carousel and look at that price point as a Black Friday deal, then you too can score yourself one of these Lame X5 microphone kits, which are wireless lavalier microphones, which I think since I've purchased them are one of the best investments that I've added to my content creation kit. And before purchasing them, I also looked at a number of reviews, and I must say I have been extremely impressed with the quality of the audio. Now, on the transmitter itself, it does have a little LED display. As I say, I am using it on the computer, so I can't show this to you, but I can show you on the box here. That display there shows the amount of battery life that the X5 actually has, and it also shows the dB level, so the level of the audio for each microphone. The other thing that it has the ability to do is connect to any number of devices, including iOS and also Android. So when you get the microphones, you actually get this rechargeable case here that the microphones go into. The lights that you see there indicate how much charge is actually in the case itself, and it basically gives you 3 charges to one usage. So this lasts about 6 hours, this microphone, and you can put this in this case and you'll be able to charge it another 2 times. So it gets about 3 charges out of the case. What you see inside the case is also your adapters for different types of devices. So this is your Lightning connector, and you also have a USB-C connector. So you can add this to iPhones or iPads. You can also add it to Android phones, as I said, as well. And you basically place your microphone unit inside this device and it starts to recharge, that you can see there, and it goes blue when it's fully charged. The other thing that is really useful with the microphone is also the fact that it has internal storage. So like some of the higher end microphones, this has 4 gigabytes of storage, which is said to give you around 9 hours of recording. And what it does, it starts to record over itself if you exceed the 9 hours. So that's a redundancy. So if you're recording to your phone or your iPad or something like that, then this is a redundancy. You also have the ability, when you have one microphone, to record in stereo, and when you have 2 microphones in play with this setup, then you can record to 2 mono channels. So that's basically 2 single voices. So if that sounds like something you like the thought of, is actually using a wireless lavalier microphone instead of a setup, it sort of frees you to do whatever you want to do, as you can see here, then this is a really good option. And at that price, I don't think you can go wrong. Now, a couple of other things that it comes with. You get a number of cables as well. Now, the PC or camera cable is plugged into the PC that I'm using right now. And then I also have a couple of cables here that are USB-C that you can see here that can be used for connecting to cameras and computers as well. Then you also get, because you have two microphones, you get two little dead cats or fluffies. So these are used when you're out in a windy environment. These just clip over the top of the microphone, and basically then you don't have the wind noise when you have like a breezy area or something like that. So basically you put the dead cat or fluffy, they call it, on your microphone. So when you're out and about, the wind blows and doesn't go across the microphone head or the where it picks it up. So that is the first item there that I want to share with you as far as items for content creation goes, and it is one that I recently added to my own creation kit or creators kit. And I think at that price and for this sound quality, I hope you like the sound quality. If you do, you can leave a comment what you think you know of the sound quality of this particular microphone that I'm wearing here in delivering this live stream to you. So it doesn't stop there. I'm going to move along in the carousel because the next item is actually another version of the Applaudable microphone, but this one is a little bit watered down. So it's this one here, and it's the VM200. Now, I actually bought this one because I wanted something on the go that wasn't going to be expensive, that if I damaged or broke it, it wasn't going to be something that I was worried about losing. So you can check it out there in the carousel. It is on a Black Friday deal. And again, you get a nice case. So this is all for what you get at the price listed there. This case is rechargeable. So it is a recharge case, and this lasts for about 36 hours of charge. And each of these microphones is said to be about 12 hours. Now, they are larger than the Applaudable X5s that I just showed you. They're a larger unit, and they have LED displays that just show the battery. So they're not as elaborate as the bigger brother. So I've just pushed on the charge case there, so you can see it shows the charge, and it'll show that they're fully charged. And basically, in much the same way as the X5 works, you also have the receiver here. Now, this receiver has the ability to have a output connected as well as a headset, so you can monitor it. So if you've got someone monitoring the audio, you can do that. You can also do that with the X5 that I just showed you as well. So this is really something I thought was worth getting at this price point, purely because it allows you to record on the go. So it's the sort of thing that you can keep inside your car or in the boot of your car if you're a content creator and you want something that, you know, should you lose or damage it, you're not going to break the bank. Now, inside this case here, it also comes similar to the X5 with all the cables you need to do everything you want as far as connecting it to mobile phones, cameras, everything like that. And again, similar to the X5, it's first in the carousel. You also get a couple of dead cats or fluffies, if you can see them in there. So this one is actually new. I haven't yet used it, so I can't speak to the quality of it. But given that I'm using the X5 that is, you know, double the price point, I think that the quality and the things that are inside this one may well be similar to what's inside the X5. Now, the case is really sturdy. It's really well made. Nice zip. Also has a lanyard as well, so you can, you know, secure this to something or carry it, which I think is really useful. It comes with a user manual which outlines how to use it, which, you know, is what you want when you're buying any sort of devices or electronic equipment. And then in here, this was a little bit of a surprise. There are more cables, and then you also have a phone mount. So there's the first two items off, well, first cabs off the rank, I guess, for this content creation deals today. Now, some of the items I show here will be on sale and some won't. I have tried to select a good number that are Black Friday deals and also some that are on deals, but this one that I'm going to show you next is my own, I think it's a Low Pro Tahoe bag. So this is the bag that contains all my camera equipment when I'm out and about filming. So a really lightweight backpack with nice solid straps, well constructed, has on the side here pockets for sticking things in, and also it has, like you would expect most of these sorts of bags to have, a whole number of zips. So I'll give you a better look at it from the top down here, and I'll see if I can adjust this camera a little bit to get more view. And you can see, like all these camera bags, you have a whole number of pockets. In here I normally put a tablet that I connect with my camera that allows me to use it as a screen, as a touch control for the camera that I use, and I'll show you the camera that I use a little later. But I also have battery chargers and extra tripods that I store in here, battery chargers, just about everything. I still have room for pens and whatever else. Like, there's so much room in here that doesn't get used or fully utilized. Throw spare batteries as well and cables in here. So it's got just about every nook and cranny that you can imagine that you need for a camera bag. So once you open up the bag, it's well padded, so it's going to protect your equipment. Then you have, where you store all your equipment. So here is the core stuff that I use when I'm out and about on the go and recording for my YouTube channels and or other things that I do when I'm out. So you can see I've got my standard chargers. I do use a Panasonic Lumix camera, which I'll talk about later. And basically you have all these nice little, like I say, places to hide and store all sorts of stuff. These are adjustable as well with strong Velcro and well padded, so you can adjust these sections here to suit what you want to put where inside this camera case. Now, one thing I do like about the case is how padded it is and protected it is, and the other thing I like is at the back of the case, it has a nice padding here, but this is really firm and it's protected so that you wouldn't have or feel anything that's actually digging inside your back or anything like that. So if you're someone who travels and you want to use a case for your camera equipment, say traveling around the world, then this case is really comfortable to wear with adjustable straps and everything like that. And you also have clips that allow you to secure your items as well when you're moving around. So you can actually lock the clips to make sure that it's not easily, stuff's not going to fall out if the zip gets unstuck or something like that. Look for the other one. So yeah, you can see, like, it's got a whole heap of features and zips and everything you'd expect. So pretty much you can secure that as well to make sure when it's zipped up that it doesn't have the risk of coming loose or getting caught on something. So a nice bag that I really like to use and that I think is worth adding to the cart if you're someone looking for a camera bag for your DSLR camera. So I had this on the wish list. So this camera bag here is not an all-weather camera bag. It does manage to, survive light rain. But if you're traveling a lot and you're looking to get more protection, the Low Pro brand of camera backpacks is a really good option to, store all your camera equipment. And some of it is worth quite a lot of money. So if you're looking to carry equipment or devices and you need something traveling and you're going to an area in the world that may experience a lot more wet weather and you want to protect your equipment, then the Low Pro Tactic that you see there may be an option for you if you're looking for something that is a little bit more robust than the day-to-day Low Pro Tahoe BP 150, which is the one that I've chosen, the one used. So that Low Pro Tactic, that is on my wish list. So that's why I'm sharing it with you, because I saw it on sale and I may well even look at getting myself one here this Black Friday. So let's have a look at some of the stuff that's actually in this. So if you look at the next item in the carousel, you're going to see this item here. So this is a U-grip from Ulanzi. This bit, the U shape, not this. And I use this to add microphones and lights when I'm using my DSLR camera, which connects to here. This has like a smooth bearing action, so it can be adjusted. When you adjust your camera, you can place it where you want it for balance. You can hold it in different ways. So you can hold it like this, or you can hold it like this and move around and film. This at the top is used, I added this, but it's actually used for my tablet that I mentioned earlier that I use as a screen. So I have a 7-inch tablet that connects to my camera. But this is a plastic construction, a really solid plastic. And I'll just give you a better look at it here. So you can see it has the horseshoe mounts. So it has three. It has one on each side and one at the top. So you can add different pieces of equipment that you might need to be able to, I'll just move this out of the way. So you can add different things that you might need. Now, the other thing I like about it, it has the grip, so it's very ergonomic when you're holding it. And it's really lightweight. And what I like about it better than most gimbals is that you do have full control of the angles and everything that you want to use. And it is referred to as a Steadicam grip for a reason, because it is considered in that category of steady cameras. So the other thing that I like about it is you can mount this on a tripod, which I do. So you have the ability to stick it on a tripod and be able to use it and take it off the tripod as you need, which I think is something that is absolutely useful when you're out and about and you're wanting to create, that you can actually stick this on a tripod, and then when you need to move around, which I do, I'm a basketball coach, if you're wondering why this is called Coach Craig Rowe. I'm a basketball coach, and we use these on the court when we're filming our athletes for the content that we create on our social media. So that's the Ulanzi U-Grip. Let's have a look at some of this other stuff that I use to create that I want to share with you here today. So you can see that U-Grip's on sale too. So if you're looking for something like that for a DSLR camera, make sure you take advantage of the Black Friday sales that are on here today. Next Black Friday sale is this one, which is, I've got to find it, is the Boya by MM1, which, I'll give you this angle here. So this is a shotgun microphone, again, goes on a horseshoe type mount. So this goes on, say, the Ulanzi grip or something like that. And this is a condenser microphone that basically plugs in to your camera or any device, a phone even for that matter, and it allows you to have a directional piece of audio. So this is ideal probably more for, I would say, internal use. So if you're in a small environment, like say in an office space, or you're in a smaller room, and you want something that's more directional, then this sort of microphone is a really useful item. It is a alloy construction, and it also has its own sort of shock mount here, which is plastic. So should you bump it, then it's going to absorb some of that pressure or whatever from the bump. It also comes with its own dead cat or fluffy, which just goes over the top like that, and that is used in windy environments or things of that nature. So that one I would recommend if you're a content creator and you're looking for something that's going to be useful in a small room or environment as a directional camera to pick up multiple sources of audio. So say two people speaking, if you're not using what I shared earlier, which is the X5 like from Filame, which is your wireless lav mics, this may be a simple portable solution for you. Now, moving along to the next item in the carousel, there is another shotgun microphone. So I mentioned the Boya from MM1 is actually a microphone that I use inside. This one is one that can be used externally or outside. And the reason I choose this as an option is because it actually has high and low pass filters. So it can be turned on. I don't know if the battery, I haven't used it for a while, is on. So I might need to put a new battery in it. Oh, no, it's got some power. So you can see it powers up there, and you can adjust for different high and low pass filtering and also noise gate. So if you're in a windy environment, then you can adjust this for a windy environment. Again, it is a shotgun microphone. So basically a shotgun microphone, for those that are watching that may not know, shotgun microphones are directional microphones. So the idea is that they point in a direction and they don't have pickup on the side or behind. So omnidirectional microphones tend to be a larger pickup pattern at the front and less from behind. And then you have bidirectional, which is from two sides. So this is a Takstar, by the way. If you're looking at Takstar SGC 600, video shotgun microphone, and again, condenser microphone. So condenser and dynamic microphones, I'll show you another condenser microphone later, and also a dynamic microphone. And there is a difference. So condenser microphones are normally powered, so they have some power that goes to them for them to function. And this one is battery powered, as I say. and you can adjust different things. It also has a shock mount here, so I'll just show you that top down. So shock mount is sort of built in here. So the idea again, if it should get bumped, then it's going to absorb some of the pressure that comes from being bumped. Not that I think if it's mounted on a camera that it would be bumped or should be bumped, but it's a nice feature to actually have. And I just remember the name of this. This is called a windsock. Okay, so that's a windsock. That's a fluffy. So a bit of an education there for both you and me today here on the Amazon platform, just reminding myself what that's actually called. Now, next in the carousel, you're going to see inside my bag here is the camera that I use. Now, this is a Lumix G7. I always keep my tripod mount on this, but it can be removed, but I have a habit of keeping it on because then I don't lose it. So that's for my tripod. But you can see this is the basic camera that I use for all my content creation. It is a micro 4/3 mirrorless camera, and it's a 4K camera, and it's one of the ones that I've had for a couple of years now that is recommended for content creation. So if you're a content creator who's looking for an entry-level camera that's going to do some of the things that some of the more high-end cameras do, then I really highly recommend the Lumix from Panasonic. So like I say, G7 camera, you can add SD card to this. It also has a battery, and I'll show you another method of delivering power to this where you don't need a battery. It has HDMI out as well, and you can also see what else. You can also add, like I say, you can add shotgun microphones to the top here on the horseshoe mount. So I'll show you that. So here is where you can add flashes. You can also add things like a light or whatever. So it is a nice little camera unit. Also comes with the sun visor as well. So you get that with the camera. You get the lens normally with the camera. Now, you can buy these cameras as well, just as the bodies, and buy your own lenses. But I always recommend getting a lens because it's often cheaper to purchase the lens at the same time as the camera. So you can see the good deal here during Black Friday week, I guess you could call it. So maybe something you want to consider to add to your own content creation kit, or maybe you're looking for that next camera for the kids that are going to take them to the next level on YouTube. Then if you check out the price on that, then I don't think you can go wrong with the Panasonic Lumix series of cameras, even whether it be that one or any other. It's the one that I sort of chose for my content creation, and it's the one that I continue to use. But like any cameras, you can add things to them. So if you look at the next item in the carousel, also on discount is a Lumix G Vario lens, which is this one. I'll just show it to you. So the thing with the micro 4/3 camera lenses is they basically do the job of a full focal length. So even though this looks like a relatively small lens, and it's a fully automatic lens, while it looks like a small lens, it actually has the focal length of a full focal, what's that called? Lens. Right? So the idea is that this one here in particular is a 45mm to 150mm focal length. But what it is the equivalent to is it's the equivalent to a 90mm to 300mm full focal length. So when you think about what would be the size of a full focal length that would have a 300mm lens, this basically does the job of one of those larger lenses that you might see journalists use, or that's used in, say, sport or something like that. So if you're someone that's looking for the close-up and you want it at an affordable price, then micro 4/3 cameras are a really way to deliver both portability, affordability, and buying the equipment that goes with them, as well as the method of getting better quality for less than you would if you had to pay for, let's say, a full focal length lens. So really useful to add this to your kit if you are buying a Lumix Panasonic G anything. So this is like a G Vario lens, so it goes with a whole series of the family of Lumix G cameras. So that is worth adding to your kit, given that it gives you that zoom from 90mm right through to 300mm, right? So check that out in the card if it's something that you're interested in. Now, one of the things I found, if you look at the carousel here again on a Black Friday deal, is the Kimaru coupler or adapter. Now, one of the challenges as a content creator, particularly with cameras these days, is that a lot of them cut off after 30 minutes of recording. So that feature is actually more around privacy and safety than anything else, and it's built into a lot of cameras. But if you are also running out of battery, there is a way that you can avoid running out of battery, and that's by running direct power to your camera. So how do you actually do that? You do that through what's referred to as a coupler or a battery adapter. So here is a Kimaru adapter for my Lumix, but you can get these if you look at the carousel and you go and look at the product page. You'll find that you can get these for any number of different type of DSLR cameras. I'll show you top down because I'm wearing a black shirt. Probably wasn't the best idea today. But basically, this replaces a battery and it plugs into a power adapter, which also comes in the Kimaru kit. So that's what it looks like. So it all just connects, and I can stick this inside the camera that I'm using to film here in this camera bag. I can add that, and then I don't need to use the battery. So the way I know whether my camera will use a coupler or is able to use a coupler, and this is what you could do too, is look at this, is you just need to see if near your battery compartment here, you have some sort of little, it almost looks like it's a secret trapdoor there. So this here tells me that I can use a coupler, because when I open that case up, that will actually come out, and now I have a hole that I can run a cable through. So that basically, if your camera has that, then there is probably a coupler on the market that you can purchase that's going to allow you to run power to your camera instead of using the battery. So if you're always running out of battery and you can't monitor the battery, or you find that it's cutting out, then that might provide an option for you as a solution to that particular problem of having your battery run out. So hopefully, if you are watching, that you're appreciating the information that I'm sharing you around the content that I'm showing you today for the content creation gear that I use personally and also recommend. I'm just putting that camera bag down. I hope that I don't need anything more out of that, but they are the main things that I use when I'm out and about recording. So it's the camera I use, the lenses I use, the adapter that I use. Obviously in the bag you also saw some rechargeable batteries. You saw the U-grip, which is from Ulanzi, which is a steady grip. I tend to use gimbals with mobile phones if we're recording them, but the steady grip's useful with, say, a DSLR that can then mount on a tripod. So that's pretty much my camera bag that we've just covered there. So let's move on in the carousel and see what else is in there. So this next item, unfortunately, is not yet on sale, but keep an eye on it because you don't know, it might become a sale item for Black Friday, is the Elgato Stream Deck. Now, I'm going to try and show you this one using a different camera because I have to turn this camera around, but bear with me a second and I'll show you what I'm actually using here. So here is the Elgato Stream Deck. So while I'm live streaming here, these buttons are all programmable, and they're programmable via software. And you can see here up the top on my screen, can't even know where to report here. This is my audio tracks at the moment. So you can see I am actually live streaming here. So what I do is I push a button and it changes the camera to what angle that I want. So I've got 3 cameras and a desktop here, and all of this is controlled. That's the camera that you see here is the one that's looking back at the screen at the Stream Deck. So the Elgato Stream Deck is a useful item to actually manage camera angles and things like that. So I choose this particular item purely to create content here on the Amazon platform to make my life easier when it comes to changing camera angles so that you get a good look at what you need to. So if that sounds like something you want to do, live stream, and you want to work out how to change camera angles using what they call OBS software, which is outside broadcasting software, then the Elgato Stream Deck is a way that you can do that. The other thing with the Elgato Stream Deck that's really good is you can program it for general tasks on a computer. I'm using it for this specific use, but you can use it for gaming, you can use it for workflow management, so you can program those buttons to open particular folders and programs and software. So it is basically a triggering device that can be programmed to do certain actions on a computer. I just happen to have programmed it to do the camera angles. Now, actually, I'll show you this because this is really cool. I have to turn this camera around again. You might have noticed this or you might not. But if you have a look, if I can keep it stable enough, you'll see, I'll try and get it closer. I don't know how good this camera is. But there's little screens there. Now, they actually move. So I'm waving at the moment. If you look at the top, your top left there, you'll see my hand moving. So each one of those buttons actually shows me in real time. If I'm waving, it shows me in real time what I'm actually doing. So it tells me which camera I'm actually going to push on and which screen or whatever. So when that spun me out, I must say, when I first saw that, I thought, wow, each one of those has its own little screen that tells me what to push. So if you're not familiar with a Stream Deck and what it does, now you are. And maybe it's something, if you're a content creator and you want to do live streaming and you want to switch between camera angles, now you know how some content creators may well be doing that with the Stream Deck Mark II. Now, there are a number of Elgato Stream Decks available on the market too. This one's the 15 button model, but there are some larger button models as well if you want to do more than just what I do, which is basic streaming. So this next item I'm about to show you is another microphone. So if you're someone who is looking to podcast, for example, this was actually the first microphone that I chose or landed on when I started podcasting, because one of the challenges of being a podcaster is the equipment that you actually use and the quality or level that it is. Now, I went through a couple of tests of microphones and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on the microphones that I actually used for my first iteration of what was then called the People with a Passion podcast, which is still up if you want to check it out. It was a video podcast that had 2 seasons, but if you check it out and you do look at the video, you're going to notice that I'm using a couple of condenser microphones and a couple of mixers that I'm going to show you in a moment. So if you're starting out as a podcaster, this is the equipment that I recommend in case you don't decide to continue, because some people start and spend a lot of money or even use equipment as an excuse as to why they're not starting their podcast. Well, having a piece of equipment like this, a microphone like this, is basically going to stop you from using that as an excuse. So this, if you check out in the price there, the Black Friday deal, this is why you can't make an excuse anymore for not starting a podcast. Everything you need as far as microphone equipment is all in this kit. So this is a condenser microphone kit. You get your scissor arm and your desk mount. So I'll try and take this stuff out, but I'll have to put it back. But you get basically everything that you need, as I say, in this kit. You get all the instructions on how to put it all together. You get a pop filter if you choose to use that. So that's stopping sounds like P's and B's and V's and those strong sounds. You also get, actually, that cable you don't get, but this one you do. So you get this cable in it as well, and you get the microphone itself. You get a sound adapter. You get a windsock. This one's a bit squashed, but they do get their shape back once you use them. And you also get what's called a shock mount. So again, this is used to stick the microphone in so that when you, or should you bump it, when it's on the scissor arm, that you then don't, get that shock noise as you hit the microphone. Now this is a metal construction, this is a plastic construction, and this is a directional microphone as well. It's a condenser microphone with an XLR input, and the reason that it is a condenser microphone is it actually needs what's referred to as phantom power to operate. So if you are using it with a computer and you're using it with the sound card here is going to deliver some power to this microphone that's going to allow you to adjust the volume to record it, or the sensitivity rather. But if you're using it with, say, an audio mixer, then you're going to need to deliver what's called phantom power to the actual piece, to the actual microphone. So that's something that's really important to consider when you're buying a microphone, is whether you have a mixer that's going to provide phantom power or not. And I'll show you a couple of mixers coming up, the mixers that I used when I first started my podcast. So everything that you see in the listing, you get in the box. And I think at that price point, if you're someone who's looking to start a podcast and you don't want to spend a lot of money, which is what I recommend to anyone starting a podcast, then I would say that is a really good purchase. You could buy anywhere from 1 to 4 if you're going to have a heap of people on a panel or something like that. And I don't think you'll break the bank on a Black Friday deal that offers you all that stuff at that price point. So that's what I would say if you're a podcaster, is get those while they're on sale. Now, moving next along in the carousel, I want to share this one with you. I'll just get that out of the way. Is the light that I'm using to my, I'm trying to work out where it is. Here, it's to my left. So when you're doing lighting for content creation, we have a number of different lights. We have like a key light, which this one over here, you'll see in a minute, is my key light. Often you have some accent lighting behind you, but basically you want to position lights so that you sort of pop, so to speak. So you're separate from the background and you're sort of noticeable against everything else. So you've got to get the balance of lighting right. So next in the carousel is the light that I'm actually using to deliver that light to my left-hand side of my face. So again, I'm just going to use this camera here and see if I can point it. It's going to get a bit bright, but you can see here, this, I'm trying to get my arm right, this here. So that's the arm that's connecting to the table that goes up to this particular light. Now, what I like about the light is it's USB powered. Now, if you're someone who isn't necessarily looking at content creation as an option for, but you have poor sight, I use this, my live stream desk here is actually my work desk. I'm in my office space that is also a studio, and this desk has been converted to allow me to live stream, but I don't have the best eyesight. So this is also useful, this light that you can see there, the Tropical Tree LED desk lamp, is really useful because not only can you change the Kelvin, which is the brightness or the whiteness of the light, you can also adjust it 360 degrees, but it's good for reading. So if you're someone who works at an office desk who wants some extra light at certain times, this just plugs into my computer and I can turn it on if I need that extra light. But I also use it in the live streams that I do here on Amazon, and also when I record content, say for YouTube or something like that. So take advantage of that Black Friday deal. I mean, check it out. It's a pretty good deal, and I think it's worth looking at if you're looking for a desk lamp. Also, a really useful item for students. So if you're looking for a gift for someone who, say, is at college, or someone who has a office space or a little desk like a student who needs extra lighting when they study, this might be something you can give them to throw in their Christmas stocking or give them for Christmas. I think it's something that I get a lot of use out of, not just as a content creator, but as an office use light in general. Just going through a couple of the simpler items here. So this one here, I just moved along in the carousel. I use these stands for my iPads. Now, I have a couple of desks here as a content creator, and these are just basically tablet holders that are adjustable. So right now I've got my Amazon Live iPad that I'm using to broadcast this, or using to see any comments, which no one said hello yet. So if you're watching, make sure you say hello. I'd appreciate that. And if you have any questions, make sure you also add some questions to the comment section. And this here is a alloy construction, and it's a flexible and adjustable to like the length or the flatness or whatever you need for the different types of tablets that you may have. And I use these pretty well on all my desks where I need to stick an iPad, where I need to control something or use it. And I use my iPad. The camera that I'm using here is known as a Mevo, which I don't have in the list today, but I use my iPads to control this camera sometimes, and that is the mount that I use on my desk. It has some nice silicone there as well. I don't want to bang on about it too long, but you can see it's got like silicone grips, so that makes it really hard to sort of move or slip or anything like that. And it is a really simple but effective item if you need something for an iPad or tablet that you want to stick on a desk that you need to be able to read or see. So again, something you can throw in as a stocking filler. Black Friday deal, I saw it there, I knew I had one, and I thought, okay, well, that's something I can show people because it's not only useful for content creation, it's also useful for gifting people for Christmas who may be looking for, something for their tablet. Now, this next item in the carousel, I use this, if we can click on it. This is on discount, so not necessarily a Black Friday deal, but any discount is a deal. If it's Black Friday or on Black Friday, I'll call it a Black Friday deal. This is now I say it's a no-del, but I have heard it referred to as a K-no-del desk pad. Now, what I like about these desk pads is they've got like a vinyl feel, they're quite thick, is that they have a second color on the opposite side of them. And this is a useful sort of thing to put on a desk as an accent. So if you got a gamer in your family, or I use it for content creation because I can do a top-down view on this. I can show something that's contrasting. So I might show like a lighter color here. But if I was looking at showing a darker color on a top-down, then I can go the lighter background. So it's something I selectively chose specifically for that purpose. So if you've ever watched any of my shoppable content here on the Amazon platform, you may have seen me use this for that purpose. So just want to share that with you. It's not only an item, again, that is used purely for content creation. You can gift it to your kids if they're gamers, or use it in your office. And one of the things I like is it changes the look and feel of an office. If you get a couple of these while they're on sale, I mean, look at the price points. If you get a couple of these on sale, then you can change the look of your room very quickly just by changing the mat that you're putting on your desk. And I like that. I like that ability to, if you get bored, something fell. I like that ability that if you get bored, that you can just change out parts of your room very quickly. Now, this next item here is a HDMI video capture card. Now, I showed you my G7 earlier, and if you have a DSLR camera and it has a micro HDMI connection, then this might be an option for you to make your DSLR a webcam. So basically this plugs into a PC, so you can see it's got a USB there. It plugs into a PC, it's plug and play, and in this end you'd stick a HDMI cable. So you have the cable here, somehow. HDMI cable goes in there, this goes in the end of the computer, this goes into your camera, and then basically you have the ability to use your DSLR camera as a webcam. And I've used that for some of my content. Sometimes the 4K camera does a way better job than my Mevo that I'm using right now, but depends on what quality that I need from the content that I'm working to create. So right now I'm live streaming, so I do not need a 4K camera connected to my computer because the quality level would just be too great a bandwidth for my computer and internet to deliver that 4K quality to you, nor do I even think that Amazon here may well support 4K. So I think right now we're about 720p, yeah, something like that. So that's what the quality coming out of the camera is at the moment. But that item is a really useful item to add to your camera kit if you're looking for the ability to turn your camera into a webcam. So I'm talking DSLR camera there. Now behind me, if you look at the carousel, you see these amazing colors. Blue and red it's meant to be, but I think it looks pink. Those colors are being created by what you see in the carousel there, which are unfortunately not on sale, but they're a good buy if you are looking to add some accent lighting to your live stream or any room for that matter. So if you want to create some sort of ambient feel, they're just casting onto a standard sort of painted wall there, and that's what's giving that effect. They're on the ground and they are USB powered, just plugged into USB adapters that are connected to a power cable. So not rocket science, as I say, but something that you could, easily add to your own content creation kit if you're looking to get a similar effect to what you're seeing here, to add something that's a bit more easier on the eyes than some plain coloring or something like that. So that is the next item in the carousel. Now, I have a video of this one, and I'll talk through it as it goes. It doesn't have audio, but I'll just got to remember how to do the technology. So we've got the, looking at the light, I think it's this one. All right, so here you can see me, obviously, and it's Godox SL60W. So this is actually the light source that I'm using right now on this live stream to my right, which I'll show you when it comes back out of the video. But basically it's a continuous light source, and it is on a stand at the moment. But this is the video that I did for Amazon as a shoppable video. So you can see SL series light. Now, the amazing thing about this particular continuous light system is you can have up to 6 different channels. So you see it says channel 6. You can connect multiple lights and control them with the one remote control. So that makes it really useful if you're in a big studio environment. I'm not in such a big studio environment. You can also see it is an LED light, and you can see the heat sink there, and you can see the temperature of the light is shown on the display on the back of the light, which is really useful. It doesn't get overly hot, but I guess it could. I've not seen it get too much above your body temperature and even lower. So the 32 degrees Celsius there that you see, or centigrade, is one that is pretty standard. Now you can see I was adjusting the light brightness there, so that was through the remote, but it also has a potentiometer on the back, or a knob, a dial that you can adjust to also adjust that temperature. You can see that it uses the compatible soft boxes, which I do use, and I have another video to show you what that looks like. But basically you can see that you can adjust that brightness. So that's what I'm using. I'll come back to this here. That's what it looks like on its stand. And yeah, so that is over here. Actually, it's too dark. I'll try and show you, but I don't think you'll see it. But basically you'll see that's the stand, and I've got the honeycomb there that you can also see. So that's what I'm using as far as a light source goes, and that is to my, hang on, yeah, to my right. It's funny, I look at the screen and I go backwards. I can never work out where I am, but that's where the other light is. So that light source here is my main key light, is the SL60W that you can see in the cart there. And again, Black Friday deal. So if you're looking for a continuous light source, it's LED, so it doesn't consume a lot of power, but gives a lot of power. I mean, actually, I think this is at the moment, the light's set at about 60%, so it's not even 100%. Else I'd be getting sunburn, but it's actually not true, but it's really bright. So it's bright enough for the space that I need and the distance that I have it. So if you are looking for a continuous light source, then check out the Godox SL60W that you see there. All right, and then the next thing in the cart also on sale is the Octagon there, the Godox Octagon softbox. So again, I'll just have a video of this, so I'll just throw this one up. So that's what it looks like. You can see the SL60W. This is my office that you're seeing here. I'll go full screen so you can see it. So basically, it's got the honeycomb, which is Velcro. It just gets attached. You can see my desk there. That's where I'm streaming from at the moment. And yeah, it's something that allows you to soften the light. So it helps you improve the shadows and the brightness. So it sort of changes how the contrast may well be in the shadowing. So what you'll notice, actually, you'll see behind me, see I've got shadow on the wall as I move. So what I want is I don't want that to be a hard light. So using a softbox softens the light so you don't get the hard shadows. Now, you might have noticed the shadow, but until I just mentioned it, you may not have. And now you probably won't be able to miss it every time you watch me. But that's what I'm trying to do, is soften that light. So you use a softbox for that. The SL60W has what's called a Bowens mount connector, which allows you to add different types of soft boxes that are also Bowens mount. So even though I'm using the Godox softbox, you could actually get another type of softbox potentially if you get the SL60W light source. All right, now behind me on the walls here, you're going to notice some squares turned on their side, so diamonds, I guess. But they are some soundproofing. So what you see there, 96 pack of blue and black absorbing sound tiles, right? Now, in a larger space, you want to reduce reverb in a room. Sometimes you need a lot of those tiles, other times you don't need many. I probably need more than I've got, but it also adds a nice little bit of accent or detail to, you know, any sort of shot, so intentionally placed there. But if you are wondering what those things are, they are those sound tiles that you see there in the carousel. Moving along, so I mentioned earlier getting the right mixers as a content creator. Now, when I first started my podcast, I went looking for equipment that wasn't overly expensive to get me started because I wasn't sure if I'd continue with the podcasting and I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So I think when you're starting out as a content creator, you know, people use equipment as an excuse not to create, but there are some really affordable options to get you going. And I even had someone who actually worked for a major television station here in Australia who asked me what I was using. So I was using the BM800 microphones I showed earlier, and I was also using these, or this, as I'm going to show you two of these, but this is the Pile Mixer. So you can check it in the carousel. It's a mixer that will mix down to one channel or to one USB. It's actually a 4-channel mixer, but it has 2 XLR inputs, so it allows you to have 2 microphones, have phono inputs, then you have some other XLR inputs here. But if you're just wanting 2 microphones, this is all you really need to produce a podcast, is this and 2 BM800 microphones. That's all I used, and a camera if you're doing a video podcast. But if you just want audio and you're not too worried if you talk over the top of each other, so you don't need what's called multi-track, then this mixer is going to be all you need, and it's on sale. And if you check out the deal there, you're going to realize that this is quite an affordable item. Now, the other thing that's good about this is you can also play music through this. You can't record and play at the same time, but if you're, say, someone who needs this sort of device just to play music at an event, you can use them in a mixer like this, to actually create or use this like for DJing and things like that as well. So if you're not familiar with a mixer, basically what it is, like an audio mixer, is basically you have multiple inputs and you have multiple outputs or a single output. So the idea is that all the inputs get put down into one channel or multiple channels, and the multiple channels would be called a multi-track. This is a mixed down analog mixer. So what it's going to do is going to put all the inputs into one channel, so one recording, but you have the ability to record to USB, which I found really useful, but I also recorded to computer at the same time as well. So this is, like I say, it's a 4-channel mixer, but if you move along in the carousel, you're going to see the next one, which is the 6-channel mixer. And both of these are mixers that have phantom power, and that's why I said using the BM800 microphones a really good idea with this. And the quality of the BM800s is really good too. So this one here is the 6-channel mixer. Again, the reason it's 6-channel and not 4 is because it adds an extra 2 inputs that can be used for microphones. Both of these are pretty much identical with the exception that there's extra inputs on this one. But they also have low, medium, and high pass filtering. So you can make adjustments with the trim pots here, or potentiometers or knobs, if you want to use a common word. So you can literally just adjust these or make adjustments as needed to deliver the change in sound quality that you want from the recordings you want. You also have volume knobs on this as well to adjust sensitivity. You also have a VU meter, visual unit meter here, and this does display. I'm not going to plug these in or turn them on, but you can check them out in the cart if you want to know more details of how these mixers actually used. They are a metal construction. The side of them is solid plastic, but they are actually a metal construction, which I also liked. And I bought one with the 4-channel mixer originally, and then I realized that made a really good item for portable use. So I actually took that with me when I went places in a backpack with a couple of BM800 microphones. So if I wanted to podcast on the go, I could keep it in the car and I'd have that there if I ever wanted to do a podcast. When I was in the moment, I saw someone and said, hey, do you want to do a podcast? Now, the other unit stayed permanently set up for a long time as part of my studio setup. But yeah, there's items that I recommend people starting out. So if you're someone starting out as a podcaster, then and you want to know what affordable equipment to use, I think if you look at that BM800 microphone and the 4-channel mixer, they're probably not even going to come to more than $100. In fact, they're probably quite less than that. So that's something you might want to consider, is if you don't want to spend a lot of money. All right, Black Friday deal, another one. Look at the carousel. This item is set up on another table, which I can't show you, but it's how, if you go and check out my influencer page here on Amazon, you're going to be able to see this in action, but you're not actually going to see it, but you're going to understand how I'm doing my top-down camera. So I'll go back to my desktop here, and hopefully I can find this one. It is this one. So this is basically a desk stand. So this is a shoppable video that I did on Amazon. Just go full screen. So what it is it's a desk mounting stand that allows you to add, say, a camera or a phone as a top-down camera. So it attaches to a desk. So the desk that you see there that I'm actually sitting at as I did this shoppable video is the desk that I use for my shoppable videos. So the desk I'm at here tonight, or today if you're watching in the US, is a live streaming desk that I created. Well, this desk that you're seeing here is actually my podcast desk. And not only is it my podcast desk, it's also my product review desk, right? You can see I've sort of graduated from the analog mixers to digital mixers. That is the original gangster of the Rodecaster Pro, but no longer available, the Rodecaster Pro original, but I am going to show you today a Rodecaster Pro 2, which I also have. So you can see here, this is how it's set up. It doesn't come with the light, but I have that ring light there. And basically that is, for its price point, it's one of the most useful items I think I've added to this office studio, because I can actually shoot top down when I'm creating shoppable videos here on the Amazon platform. So I thought I'd share with you how I was actually doing that. All right. So check that one out. That is on a Black Friday deal. And I mentioned the Rodecaster Pro 2. I mentioned the Rodecaster Pro, but I also have here in my hot little hands. So this is what I graduated to. So I'm not going to, oh, sorry about that. I hope that didn't go through your ears if you're wearing earbuds, but this is what I actually graduated to, is the Rodecaster Pro 2. So this audio mixer has 6 physical faders, but it also has 3 virtual faders. So it also has the ability to connect to 2 computers or even a hard drive or another device via USB-C. So on the back here, these are your inputs for both instruments and or microphones. You also have headphone outputs for all 4 channels. You have monitors if you want to monitor via headphones and or monitor speakers externally in another room. This is Wi-Fi connectability and Ethernet connectability. It has a SD card that you can record directly to, and you can also record sound effects and use the sound pads and everything to generate sound pads. It also has a voice changer, and it has any number of ways to manage the workflow by using the touch screen. Obviously it's not on, but you would be able to shuffle around your workflow on this and save different settings for different shows that you may produce as a podcaster, or if you're a live streamer or a gamer or a YouTuber for that matter, then this is what I would recommend. And if not this, then if you move along in the carousel, this was recently released. I don't own one of these, but if you check out the carousel, you're going to see the Rodecaster Pro Duo there. Now, the Rodecaster Pro Duo is basically a 2-channel version. I think it's 4 channels. I think it's got virtual channels, but it's got 2 microphone inputs. So it's got less inputs than the Rodecaster Pro 2, smaller footprint, smaller price point, but it has a lot of the functionality of the Rodecaster Pro 2. So if you're looking for something that's really useful on the go, then this might be an option for you if you're looking for something a little bit smaller or you don't have the space. Well, I think of it, on the bottom of the Rodecaster Pro 2, you do have the ability to mount it on a stand as well. So they've added that feature from the original Rodecaster. So something to be aware of if you're looking at the Rode products or the Rode mixers. Now, I graduated from those pile mixers that you saw earlier. So this is the important thing about content creation, is a lot of people use equipment as an excuse for not starting. Would I recommend, if you're starting a podcast, that you go and buy a Rodecaster Pro or a Rodecaster Pro 2 or Duo? The answer to that is probably no, because I think that you have to start on training wheels first. So I think spending a little bit of money on a mixer to make sure that podcasting or content creation is for you is probably a better option, because it's going to teach you a little bit more so that you get ready for when you upgrade to new equipment. There is a lot that, they are easy to use, the Rodecaster Pro 2s, but there is a lot of functionality that's built into the software that goes into those particular devices. And it does require a degree of knowledge to set them up and or be happy with the settings. And some people can get really lost in trying to improve the quality of their audio with a higher end Rodecaster Pro, when for most people the average audio would be sufficient. Now, I used to use the Rodecaster Pro 2, so this is a bit disclosure here for my audio here on the Amazon Live platform. But since I've had the Filame X5, which was the very first item in the carousel tonight, so that's this wireless mic that I'm using, then what you're hearing now, I've chosen over the Rodecaster Pro 2. So I no longer have this set up. I brought the reason it's not plugged in is it used to sit on the desk here with the microphone on a scissor arm, but I've actually removed all that so that I have the freedom to wave my hands around. So that's why I don't use the Rodecaster Pro 2, and I brought it back in today to actually show you. Now, on discount, now this was an expensive item, but simple. This item is a cable that allows you to connect a iPad to a Rodecaster Pro or Rodecaster Pro Duo. Now, they do connect via Bluetooth as well, your iPads that is, but I didn't know I needed this particular cable until I discovered I needed this particular cable. So this cable here allows you to connect to an iPad. And I think the reason that's important to let you know that is because the original gangster of the Rodecaster Pro had a TRRS connector, which allowed you to connect it to most mobile devices. But they removed that in the Rodecaster Pro 2. And a lot of us content creators weren't very happy about that. And I wasn't happy to know that I had to buy a cable neither to allow me to connect it to an iPad. So I'm giving you that tip now that you may need that. But while I'm telling you that, if you look in the carousel, you're going to see that's on sale. And for a cable, like all cables that Apple and other manufacturers sort of put out there that you require, that is needed. You will not find another cable that works with those two devices. So that one I recommend you get if you are looking to connect it in that way. Now, I mentioned condenser mics all night. You saw probably in one of the videos that I showed earlier is the Rode Pod Mic. Now, Rode's recently released a whole heap of different new products to market. This one is the one that I have, which is the XLR. So I'll show you that. Ooh. So XLR connector. Now this is a solid metal construction. It's really heavy. It's actually about 750 grams. It's a really well-made microphone. It has a number of features built in, and it is a dynamic microphone. So unlike a condenser microphone, which I mentioned earlier, the dynamic microphone doesn't need phantom power to operate. It operates in a different way. Now, this has a number of different features that you wouldn't know looking at it, but it has a built-in windshield. So what you're seeing here, this silver, is the built-in windshield. It also has a pop filter in there and also a shock mount. So while it is a solid construction and it doesn't look like it's got a shock mount, the diaphragm inside the microphone, and unfortunately I can't open it, but I trust Rode that they're telling the truth, it has its own shock mount internally that allows that microphone, should you bump it, to be able to absorb a little bit of vibration. So not on sale, sadly. Hopefully, if you keep an eye on it, add it to your wish list or your idea list, then it might be something that on Black Friday they may be kind enough to do a deal, as with all the Rode products that I've shown you today. But if not, they're still well made and well constructed items, and they're something that a lot of content creators and particularly podcasters find as their go-to pieces of equipment. Now, next in the carousel, I mentioned that you've got, if you look there, you've got two. Not that you're getting a discount, but you can check that out. Now, they have been releasing new products. Now, I haven't tested the latest version of a Rode mic, but I think it's only fair that I let you know that if you are looking for one that connects via a USB, then that is one of the new features of the latest version of the Rode Pod mic, is that it actually now supports a USB connection. So I wanted to make sure that if I'm promoting the XLR version at the price point that you see there, that you're also aware that there is a more recently produced or later version of the Pod mic that I can't show you because I don't have one. And I probably won't get one because I'm really happy with the Filame X5s that I'm wearing. So now, I think I'm at the last item of the carousel today. So I appreciate those who have been here watching, and I haven't had any questions. So if you do want to say hello, let me know where you are in the world. I'm more than happy to say g'day. If you have any questions, make sure you throw those in the questions section here. Leave a love heart. I love love hearts. And last item here I'm showing you is because it's the item that I've been using as my top-down camera here on this live stream today, which is the Logitech C922X Pro. Now, a lot of the equipment that I use, I would say is quite entry level, but a lot of content creators endorse it. So if you're someone who's looking for affordable items that are proven to deliver the quality that would be expected of someone in a content creation space, then what I've shared with you today are the content creation deals that I think will get you started as a content creator, but will provide a degree of longevity with the equipment that you actually choose, that if you chose to buy anything that I've recommended today, I do not think you would be disappointed, as I have not been with any of the items that I own that I share with you today. So these are genuine items that I use. I haven't shown you anything here that I don't use myself. And I think that that is something that's really important when you're showing people equipment, that you are someone who stands behind that equipment when you're sharing it with people. So last item, I'm going to flip the camera here. This is the one that I'm using, top down. It's got sticky tape on it, sure, okay. Modify, adjust, adapt. It's on a scissor arm. It's plugged into a computer. I'm showing you some of the magic behind the live stream. That's the technology. Some, what is that, electrical tape holding a camera on a scissor arm, because I don't want to pay for the amount that would go just to connect it to the scissor arm. But we can modify, adjust, and adapt here at the Swish or Coach Craig Rowe basketball influencer page. So hopefully you've got a lot out of this live stream and the content that I've shared with you today on all the items. So, if I had to say a favorite item, then I could ask you, do you have a favorite item? If you've been watching, do you have a favorite item? I'm just going to go back to the carousel, because the one that I think I'm most happy with is the Filame X5 microphones. So I will be recommending these microphones. And this isn't sponsored, this is genuinely a review. I don't think I would spend any more than I have to on a wireless lav microphone now that I've discovered the Filame X5. Now, maybe they'll bring out, and they do have other versions, but from what I've seen from the content I've created, including the live stream that I'm doing now, with this particular microphone, I don't know why you would need to spend money on anything else. I know that a lot of the higher end microphones do have a lot of extra features, but my question, if I'm not in a higher end production and I'm producing a live stream like this at 720p, streaming onto a platform like Amazon or say YouTube, then if I don't need to spend the money, because it's not overly noticeable of the price point of the equipment that I'm using, then why would I? And I think that's what you need to ask if you're looking to be a content creator. Now, this microphone is only also recent to market, so probably in the last year it's sort of getting a bit of momentum as far as a piece of equipment, and it's taking on some of the more expensive and heavier hitters when it comes to wireless lav microphones. As I say, you get two microphones, You get the receiver. It doesn't have a touch screen, but I'm okay with that. It does have buttons that you can adjust volume, and also you can check check levels and battery levels and things like that. So I don't think you need much more than this if you're looking for some wireless labs that you can take on the road. And it does come. Actually, the one thing that it comes with a case. This case, right? It comes with this case, the battery charger. But what I don't go much on is that it didn't actually come with a case. So if I have to criticize the company, unlike their VM, so this is the VM 200 from Filane, this is a case. Like, give me this is a rechargeable case, but it zips and everything. It's like it's a case, right? It's got everything you need. I'll throw that one across too. So again, Black Friday deal, right? That to me is what I would have liked with the X5s. And yes, okay, the price point's still affordable, still a good price, but it would have been nice if they had something like this for portability with a strap so that you can easily transport it. But other than that, I don't really fault the quality of the audio. So with that, I'm going to wrap up the live stream. I want to say thank you for being here. If you've watched, whether it be in the moment live or later on as a replay, I do appreciate you checking out all the equipment that I've shared with you today that I use to create content both on this platform and on other social media. And also, don't forget, I do have one more Black Friday live stream coming up on Saturday for business. So if you're a small business owner and you're looking for small business bargains, then I'm going to be showing you some things that you might want to consider to add to your Black Friday cart here on Amazon. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for being here, and I'm going to end the live stream. I didn't get anyone chatting today, so wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a wonderful day or night, and I will catch you in the next one. Till next time, take care. Catch you later.